The chandelier lights were too bright for a room so full of darkness. Crystal sparkled. Champagne fizzed. Violins sang in the background like nothing bad could ever happen in a place this expensive. But beneath all that glitter, there was tension. Sharp, quiet, cold, and right in the middle of that golden ballroom stood a young black waitress named Maya, frozen, clutching a silver tray like it was the last piece of dignity she had left. Her hands were shaking, her breath unsteady, her eyes locked on the tall, gray-haired billionaire who had just made the entire hall go silent. "Dance this waltz, and you'll marry my son," he said it with a smirk. Not kindness, not humor, a challenge, a mockery. Guests laughed. Glasses clinked. Someone whispered, "Does she even know how to waltz?" Another chuckled. Imagine her in this family. Maya didn't move. Couldn't move. Not because of the waltz, but because of the humiliation burning her skin like fire. And the billionaire, Edward Beaumont, he leaned back, proud of his cruelty, but he had no idea, no one did, that this waitress, this girl he tried to embarrass, was about to change his entire world. Maya kept her head down, but the tears were already swelling, because standing right behind the billionaire was his son, Daniel Beaumont, tall, soft-eyed, quiet, and clearly horrified. His face was pale, his jaw clenched. He tried to stop his father. "Dad, that's enough." But the billionaire raised a hand, silencing him. And then, in the middle of the awful silence, someone gasped. Not because of the billionaire, but because Maya slowly lowered her tray and stepped forward. Not bold, not defiant, just steady, heartbroken but steady. She placed a hand on her chest, breathed in, and said the sentence no one expected, "I will dance." The room erupted into whispers. Daniel's eyes widened, a mixture of shock and something softer and deeper. At that moment, the billionaire laughed, a deep, arrogant laugh. But Maya didn't look at him. She didn't look at the crowd. She didn't even look at Daniel. She was somewhere else completely. A dusty church in her childhood, her little sister clinging to her dress, her mother teaching her to count steps because they couldn't afford ballet, her father humming to her while she practiced on cracked wooden floors. She closed her eyes and stepped toward the center of the room. "Before we go deeper, if you believe in kindness, in second chances, and in stories that remind us what humanity should look like, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel, Kindness Stories Hub. It helps us tell more stories that matter." Now back to Maya. Maya wasn't born for ballrooms. She was born in the quiet corners of life, in a neighborhood where streetlights flickered, where dreams were things you patched together with courage. Her father, a mechanic who worked himself to exhaustion. Her mother, a singer who lost her voice after a lung infection. Money was always short, food sometimes too, but love never. Her father danced with her in the kitchen when the electricity got cut off. Her mother clapped along, singing with whatever voice she had left. Her little sister laughed, spinning until she fell. Those moments, soft, imperfect, precious, were all Maya ever needed. But life wasn't kind. Her father died in a factory accident. Her mother fell sick shortly after. Her little sister needed medicine every month. So Maya dropped out of college and took the first job she could get, a waitress, at the most expensive ballroom in the state, serving people who never looked at her, people who lived in worlds she'd only seen in magazines, people who treated staff like props. She swallowed insults. She worked double shifts. She hid pain behind practiced smiles, not because she was weak, but because she had people depending on her. And tonight, she just came to earn her paycheck, not to be mocked, not to be humiliated. But life has a strange sense of timing. The waltz music began, slow, elegant, almost cruel in its softness. Edward Beaumont folded his arms, amused. Guests leaned forward, hungry for drama. Daniel stepped closer, whispering to Maya, "You don't have to do this." She looked up at him for the first time. Her voice was small, but firm. "Your father thinks I'm beneath him. I need to prove that I'm not." Daniel swallowed hard. She placed her hand in his, and they started to dance. Her steps were shaky, her breathing uneven. She almost tripped twice, but every time she faltered, Daniel tightened his grip ever so slightly, as if silently saying, "I've got you." People watched, some mocking, some amazed, some confused. Then Maya made a mistake. She stepped on his shoe, hard. A few guests burst into laughter. One woman whispered loud enough to be heard, "She dances like she cleans." Maya's chest tightened. Her throat burned. The billionaire smirked, and that was the moment everything cracked inside her. Her feet stopped. Her hands slipped from Daniel's. She stepped back, trembling. "I can't," she whispered. Daniel shook his head. "Maya." But his father cut him off with a booming voice. "Of course you can't. Some people don't belong in certain places. That's life." The whole ballroom went silent. Daniel stared at his father in disbelief. Maya's heart shattered. This wasn't about a dance. It was about dignity. And the billionaire had crushed it like it meant nothing. Maya ran. Not dramatically, not loudly. Just quietly. She slipped out of the ballroom, down the service hallway, and into the small staff room where she kept her things. Finally, when no one was looking, the tears came. She sank to the floor, hands on her face, shoulders shaking, all the pain she carried for years washing over her. "I shouldn't have danced. I shouldn't have done this. What was I thinking?" Her voice cracked. She felt stupid, embarrassed, small. But the truth, she wasn't crying because of humiliation. She was crying because for one brief second, she let herself dream of something bigger. And that dream was crushed. Publicly, cruelly. A soft knock broke the silence. "Maya," Daniel's voice. She didn't answer. The door creaked open. He knelt beside her, not touching her, not crowding her. Just there. "I'm so sorry," he whispered. "You didn't deserve that. My father, he was wrong, completely wrong." Maya wiped her face, embarrassed. "You should go." "Fear not," Daniel said gently. "And that's okay." She looked at him then, really looked at him. Not as a billionaire's son, not as someone above her, but as a person, and she saw something she didn't expect: guilt, anger, protectiveness, and something tender, something dangerous. He took a breath. "I know tonight was awful, but please don't let my father define your worth." Where she blinked. "Why do you care?" He hesitated, then said the quiet truth. "Because I noticed you long before tonight." Her heart skipped. "I've watched you help other staff. I've seen you offer your meals to someone who forgot theirs. I've heard you humming when you think no one's listening. And when you stepped onto that dance floor," his voice softened, "I saw the bravest person in the entire room." Maya didn't know what to say, so she said nothing. Silence, but not the painful kind. The kind that feels like something new is being born. The next morning, Maya expected to be fired. Instead, she got a message. "Report to the rooftop garden at noon." From Daniel. She almost didn't go, but something told her this wasn't about pity. When she arrived, Daniel was there, holding 2 cups of coffee and a stack of papers. "I'm not here to apologize again," he began. "I'm here to do something better." He handed her the papers. She read the title, Beaumont Foundation Scholarship Application. APPROVID, her breath caught. I didn't apply for this." "I did," Daniel said softly. "But I only filled the form. You earned every reason on it. And the approval," she whispered. He smiled. "That wasn't me. It was the board. I only made sure they saw who you really are." Her hands shook. "Daniel, why would you do this?" His expression softened, warm and steady. "Because you deserve a life where no one can humiliate you again." Her eyes filled. "And your father?" she asked. Daniel exhaled slowly. "That's the other thing." Edward Beaumont stepped forward from behind a row of plants. Maya froze. But this wasn't the arrogant man from the ballroom. This man looked older, humbled, unsteady. And then, unbelievably, he bowed his head. "Maya, I'm sorry." Silence. He swallowed, voice rough. "I messed up. I let pride blind me. I thought wealth made me superior. But when you danced even after my cruelty, you showed a kind of grace I've never had in my entire life." He looked up, tears trembling. You taught me something yesterday. Something I should have learned long ago. Maya didn't speak. Couldn't really. Daniel placed a hand on her shoulder. His father continued. I'm not asking you to forgive me today, or ever if you don't want to. I just want the chance to be better, to do better. He extended a velvet box. Not jewelry, not money. A key to your mother's medical treatment, full coverage, and an apartment until you finish your degree. Maya's breath shook. This was not pity, not charity. This was a man trying to rewrite his wrongs. Slowly she nodded, not forgiveness, but acceptance. Over the next weeks, everything changed. Maya started classes. Her mother received treatment and began to recover. Her little sister finally smiled again, and Daniel, he showed up. Not with gifts, not with grand promises, just with presence. Coffee before class, walks in the park, quiet conversations that stretched into hours. It wasn't a fairy tale. It was gentle, real, slow. And one evening, as they stood on the rooftop garden again, Daniel reached for her hand. You know, he said with a soft smile, you still owe me a waltz. She laughed. There's no ballroom this time. He shook his head. We don't need one. And there, under the sunset, between potted plants and city winds, they danced. Her feet over his, her laugh echoing, her heart light, and for the first time in a long time, she didn't feel small. She felt seen. Maya didn't marry a billionaire's son because she danced a waltz. She didn't win a scholarship because someone felt sorry for her. She didn't rise because life suddenly got easy. She rose because she always had strength, quiet strength, the kind that refuses to break, the kind the world underestimates, the kind that shines when tested. And Edward Beaumont, he learned the lesson of a lifetime. Wealth may open doors, but humility is what keeps them open. And kindness, unexpected, undeserved, unasked for, can save more than reputations. It can save hearts. If Maya's journey touched your heart, if you believe in compassion, redemption, and second chances, please like, comment, and subscribe to Kindness Stories Hub. Tell us your thoughts. Share your experiences. Help us spread stories that remind the world kindness is still alive.